mine's Johnson Mac. My Instagram handle is Mystery Mac. It's where I post all my driving videos. I'm a driving enthusiast and I like to talk about my car. When I was little, I used to be very much into video games, especially racing games. And the first copy of Gran Turismo I picked up, I noticed a car that was unique out of all the cars that I've driven in that game, and that was the RX-7. And it caught my attention because the power plant was different. So I started studying it more and eventually became obsessed with it. And that obsession carried on into college when I bought my first RX-7, which was an FC, for $500. So since then, I've been really into rotaries. I've had maybe 4 or 5 FCs, maybe 6 over the years, and I was building I've crashed 2 of them, one at Auto Club Speedway and one in the rain. And it was after I crashed the one in the rain that I figured out, I came to a crossroads as to what to do next. So there was a long hiatus then where I didn't have an RX-7. I ended up buying a house, and life kind of got in the way. So then a few years after buying a house, I got another shell, and I was building it up just to be a track weapon. And my friend from Lucky 7, Friss, let me know about a FD that he had that he didn't want to part out, and it was this car, and I ended up buying it from him. It was largely complete. The paint was done, the cage was done, and the engine was running. So I picked it up and just started driving it. Fairly modded when I got it already. When I got it, it already had Fortune 510 coilovers, but it was their Gen 3s. It came with a set of Enki RPF 1s. It came with 2 Sparkle seats, one Pro 2000, one Pro 2002 with the wider version. It already had a Momo steering wheel. The interior chassis wiring was already replaced with a painless one. The engine is a Lucky 7 large street port with high compression S5 NA rotors, balanced and rotated assembly. The turbo is a Turbolone TDX62R, which is a modified Garrett GD35R with a larger compressor wheel. All that's connected with a HKS log manifold with a 46mm precision wastegate. ECU at the time was a Haltech Platinum Sport 1000. Had a Mayval manual steering rack, and that was pretty much it. All the fuel lines and the fuel pumps were upgraded. It was running a surge tank from 034 Motorsports, and so that was a setup that I got, as is, right? Then I started, I fixed a few things. The seats weren't mounted, so I got Garage Star rails. The cage wasn't painted, so I finished painting it. I did a pretty shit job, but it works. And I was really itching to get to the track, so my first track day was actually Auto Club Speedway's infield, so the smaller track, and I think that was with Speed Ventures, but I don't remember. And the car ran well. It had some ignition breakup issues and some fueling issues, but those were resolved with a dyno tune later. But eventually I lost the engine due to the wiring that was already in there. The the trigger wiring had noise in there for some reason, which advanced the timing under boost, and that's how I lost the engine. So Frisk built me another engine, standard FD build, using standard compression rotors, and I built an entire brand new wiring harness myself, using mil-spec connectors, and we got it tuned, and 2 years later we're back, and it's been 2 years since the new engine and the tune, and I've had maybe over 30 events on it, and the engine's been pretty reliable. So I've in that process I added water injection. ECU got upgraded to a Haltech Elite 1500. I'm running additional sensors as well, EGTs, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Fuel system got upgraded. I'm running the Radium in-tank surge system, so that provides all the fuel that I ever need and room for expansion if I decide to go E85. So I just kept driving it, and as I got faster, I decided I need more brakes, so I installed some APG, installed an APG big brake kit. It's 356 millimeter rotors up front, 6 piston calipers, 330 millimeter rotors in the rear with 4 piston calipers, and that system allows me to retain the e-brake functionality. Over time I got some new wheels as well. Initially it was the Enkei NT03Ms that I got, which came in 18 by 10.5 plus 30, and later on I got the Volt T37s, the OGs, 18 by 10.5 plus 15, and on those I typically run Nitto NT01s in 275, 35, 18, and on the other wheels, the Enkeis, I run 295, 30, 18 Yokohama A052s. So I think that's the state of the build right now. There's probably more that I'm missing, but yeah, there's just a lot that I've done to it, and I've kind of forgotten already. Oh yeah, intercooler radiator V-mount setup is new. The vents is new. The vents I added in afterwards, and that's it. Putting down around 400 to 420 at the wheels at 16 psi, and that's with a very conservative tune. Timing is very conservative, and I'm running under full boost, low 11s on air fuel ratios, and the water injection helps keep the intake temps low, and thus the combustion chambers low as well. My goal for next year is to get into the sub 50 range at Buttonwillow, and I feel like the setup doesn't need much to get there. I've been spending the last 2 years improving my driving, and just starting with just being humble and learning from qualified people, and just studying and just not being afraid to make mistakes and learning from them. So it has been a really good 2 years. A lot of bad habit breaking in my driving, and meeting new people, and also getting started in my own studies on just driving. But stuff I have planned for the car is I've got some new aerodynamic pieces that I'm working on to add a lot more downforce to the car. I'm I'm doing an overhaul in January where the car is going to get some much needed maintenance. I'm slowly collecting body parts for the next wide body refresh. So I really want to execute on the same quality of build that the time attack cars in Japan bring out. You know, the cars there are basically the benchmark for all time attack builds in the world, in my opinion. So I want to execute in the same quality of build as they do. So yeah, just taking it pretty patiently, not rushing into things, and I really want to prioritize working on my driving.
That did not help.